welcome everyone. I've got Selena here with me this afternoon. I'm so excited. We thought we'd do a little lunchtime live just to talk a little bit more about Selena's journal. This is last year's, which I've nearly finished filling in, and I think mine are arriving any day now for Hello 2026. I'm so excited, and it's been beautiful for me this year to be in Selena's membership and to get, not to all of them, but some of the sessions that I've been able to get to and anchor into reflections, especially because I've had quite an unanchoring last half of the year for lots of different reasons. So this has just literally felt like an anchor. You can see it's like sun bleach, it's been everywhere. So yeah, that's what's gone on with that. So I'm so delighted you're here, Selena. Do you want to just introduce yourself so people know a little bit more about who you are if they've not met you on Substack or online before?
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here. So I am a career and life design coach. I have been doing that work for about 20 years now. And I'm an author, wrote book Burnt Out. And I've got an Audible series called The Career Change Coach. And 9 years ago, I did a Kickstarter and created the first Goodbye Hello journal. It's something I'd been doing I think I did the first one 16 years ago for myself. I just wanted to pause before I stepped into another year and actually reflect back on the year I'd just been through. I'm someone who's always so quick to just always the next thing, always looking forward. And I'd had a big year and I was like, wait. Before I just slam the door shut on this year, I want to pause and actually acknowledge what I've been through and take a moment to sort of think about the happy moments and the challenges and then take a breath and then look, what do I want this next year to be all about? And so I created this Goodbye Hello guide, did it for myself, shared it with some of my friends and family. And I've created a lot of different worksheets and guides in my lifetime. But this is something that other people really love, to the point that the following year they're like, oh, are you doing that New Year guide thing again? And so it just started to grow and started to spread. And I started to have this dream that I wanted it to actually be a hold in your hand journal that you could see the whole collection growing on your shelf. And 9 years later, that's what it is. And so at the start of this year, I was like, it's been a side project of mine. We can talk more about this. Started self-published, went into partnered with a publisher for a couple of years, then left that and then went back to self-publishing. And kind of halfway through this year, I was like, do you know what? What I really want to do is focus full time on this journal's publishing business. And so that is what I'm doing. So yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
And there was another one of yours that came out summertime-ish, Time to Thrive, wasn't there? I haven't got it to hand, but
I've got it here.
Love, there it is, beautiful, which felt like a really nice moment to be reinvigorating what is it. My word of the year this year has been radiant, and the idea was that I wanted to really feel that from the inside out. I think just being in midlife and some hormonal changes and all that sort of stuff, that was a really beautiful word to anchor me in, and it's definitely held me in that way with the journal prompts as well. Like some of the questions I remember at the beginning of the year, filling them in and being like, I don't know. Like, I don't even know if I dare to know, it's just, I love that though, the expansiveness of just being like, well, what if you just start writing? What if you just start and see what comes out? So
exactly
that way.
Yeah. And I've really designed it so that I try and make it the questions as easy as possible. Sometimes I find journaling questions, I'll be like, I don't even know where to begin answering that. This is stuff like, what were some of your happiest moments? And don't worry if you draw a blank, get your calendar out, look for your photos. Because I'm like,
the photos tip is amazing. Like, I definitely need to do that. I'm like, wait, it's been a whirlwind. What's happened? Yeah.
And it's that the idea is it is an anchor, because then you have quarterly check-ins throughout the year to kind of bring yourself back in. And so many of us are sort of caught up in the rush of life. That's completely normal and that's okay. But having these moments to pause, take a step back, get off the playing field and just check in and go, how are you? Like, but how are you really? And reflecting back on the last quarter and what you did and the things that happened. And then what do you want to focus on in this next quarter? And those act as anchors to the things that are really important to us. So I love that you use that word and you found that it's acted like an anchor, because that is, a big part of it. But also the power of reflection, of reflecting back. We're so forward focused a lot of the time. And it's through the reflecting back. I always say to people, even in tough years, we can be so quick to want to slam the door shut and just be like, oh my God, that was a terrible year. Let's
Yeah.
hope this year's better. But actually reflecting back on a tough year, you might think it will be uncomfortable and it will bring up emotions, but it's so cathartic. And you'll always find that in amongst the challenges which you will acknowledge and write about, there were moments of happiness. There were moments where you experienced love and connection. And it's so important to go, oh, it was a really tough year and there were some really beautiful moments. And then as you start to see over the years, the great years, the really tough years, the years that were hard, but I learned something. Oh, that was an amazing year. And it reminds you that that is life. Like you're going to have ups and
Mm,
downs. It's the same for everyone.
mhm.
And, it's being able to see your own journey in
Yeah.
life,
Yeah.
rather than always looking forwards, which I certainly get caught up in.
Yeah, it can be easy to do that kind of. I feel like with the mindfulness projects that I've done around journaling over the years, I've definitely got a creative practice that embraces journaling. And I know if I'm ignoring it, it's because I've got into like a really bad mindset or a really bad headspace, and it's the medicine that I need. I can see in here, I didn't do the July pages. When I was flicking through, I was like, oh, I've not done the July pages. That's really interesting. But I know why. Like, I know that everything was like crumbling a bit for me. And I was like, I don't really know how to articulate any of this. Like it all felt a bit bananas. Like, and I think then coming back into life, I know what happened. Like my flowers started blooming in the garden, and I was like, oh, I don't really care about any of that big stuff. Look at my beautiful flowers. So it's all of that sort of stuff. So if I'd have picked it up again, I probably just would have written about that. And then the next little part that we've got to do, like I've filled the notebook pages and everything in here. So I've literally only got time to reflect left to do, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I've got that left to do, which obviously I'll do with you. And
Yeah,
there's this beautiful quote from Maya Angelou, which says, "You can't really know where you're going unless you know where you've been."
yeah,
And I think that really alludes to what you're saying about the roller coaster years, the up and down. Like,
yeah,
such a beautiful invitation to be like, okay, like the entirety of a year, well, it's arbitrary, really, isn't it? Because actually, life's made up of so many moments and so many choices. And I know when you ask us to kind of plan in some dates and stuff, I love that. It's like, what are you doing for yourself? Are you going for a massage? Are you going on a date with your husband? Are you popping down to London? Like, and I love those prompts because I think it's so easy just to be caught up in what you're doing every day unless you make those conscious choices. And that is the designer life you love,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah.
Mm.
Exactly. I mean, we also do in my membership, which is here on Substack, another way. We
Brilliant.
do
Yeah.
we do a monthly reflect and plan. I started it at the start of this year, and that's been also really powerful. We've got the quarterly check-ins with the journal, but then that monthly check-in. And when I did the check-in just now in November, at the start of November, I looked ahead at what I had planned, and I was like, I have absolutely no fun planned at all. It's like, what are you looking forward
Yeah.
to this month? And I was just like, nothing
Oh,
until
got
the
nothing in
29th of
there. Yeah.
November. And I was
Yeah.
like, right, I've got to book some things in. So last weekend I had just the most delicious day with a friend of mine. We went off to a farmer's market, we walked, we talked, like really time for me
Mm,
because I'd gone, I know what I want to do. I want to go and hang out with that friend. So I
mhm.
called her up and I was like, you were in my November reflections. I want to hang out with you. She's like, great. And so we did that. And had I not recognized that this would have been such a dry month, other than this
Right.
conversation,
Yeah.
you know,
Oh.
it's like
Yeah.
it's like it would have been, I had nothing to look forward to. So it's also that's reflecting back and reflecting
Mhm.
forward and just seeing what we have planned and is there stuff that's going to fill up my cup? And
Yeah.
that reflecting back piece, there was a year just towards the end of the pandemic, and that's what's crazy is these books do they record the pandemic in the middle
Yeah.
of them, of course.
Plan it over. Yeah.
Um, but I had a really tough year because I'd reflected back over it and really just acknowledged, God, that what this has been tough.
Mhm.
It informed what I wanted my intention for the following year to be. And I
Mhm.
wanted it to be all about filling up my cup. No
Mhm.
big dreams, just press pause on any big dreams. This needs
The
to be the year.
gentle. Yeah, I love
Get
that.
yourself
Mm.
back because I'd taken the time to acknowledge, actually, you know what? This has been tough. And there's
Yeah.
beautiful moments and I've learned so much, but it has been tough. So I'm going to make this next year all about filling up my cup. And that's
Yeah.
the beauty of it as well. You set an intention towards the end of the journal for your year ahead. And
Mhm.
it can be so different from one year to the
Mm.
next.
So different. And I talk a lot about being inside of your vision board. So I really like the expansive vision board work. It's been brilliant for me. It's seen me change careers. It's seen me sort of steady back into a life here on the Northumberland coast when we thought we were going to move away. Like there's so much in that because it's all about how you want to feel and seeing things reflected back. I think sometimes with vision boards, we can do them at the start of the year, or sometimes we do them in the spring. I've done workshops on that before, but then you sort of forget. And so I think there's real power in connecting back in as regularly as the journal prompts you to. And I found that this has been such a powerful year. My vision board was actually quite sparse. My 3-year vision is not, like, it's quite expansive. Or did we do 5-year vision? I think I did 5-year visions with you guys in Sparkle, didn't I, at the start of the year?
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about that. I want to
get
talk
in.
about that.
So it's
Yeah.
this dance, isn't it, with kind of going, if you see a vision board workshop and you think beautiful, gentle, lovely, if you see a 5-year vision board workshop, some people did say to me, like, I just don't feel I can be in that space, Claire. And I'm like, that's cool. And you'll know if that is a nice space for you in time. But I do think there's something powerful in allowing yourself to be expansive in your field, and then also come back to the daily, come back to the reflections, come back to the practice of hearing your voice. A member of mine, Cheyenne, she did this beautiful Instagram reel, and I chatted to her about it in the DMs because I was really taken with it. And she said that her and her sister had done this beautiful exercise. Well, I actually think it was quite an aggressive exercise in the end, but they had to ask, like, what do you want, over and over and over and over again. And Cheyenne said in the end, I'll have to tell her about this, but she'd said in the end, after like being asked endlessly, she was like, I want to quit my corporate job and move to Paris with my family. She's American. And now that is what she does. That is where she is. And I was just like, I'm so glad I asked. Like, I just got that spidey sense that there was something really a lot deeper about the reel. So I really wanted to ask her about it. And I just love that. Like, what do we want? What do we want? And how do we want things to look and feel? There's just so much in there.
Yeah, and I don't think we spend enough time asking ourselves that. And something I've been working on this year is also giving myself permission to want the things I want. And that's okay. Just purely because but I just want it. And
Yeah.
that's enough. That's
Yeah.
enough. But I got to share because
Yeah.
so in the journal for the past 5 years or so, there's been an exercise which is looking forward to your life 5 years from now. And it's an interesting one. You say some people can't be in that space. I've actually this year for the first time done an audio guide that, if as an extra for people that want to buy that as well, that accompanies the journal and kind of helps you to go deeper. And I talk about how, depending on your personality type, some people are natural forward thinkers. Like we live there the whole time in the future, thinking, visioning, and it's really easy for us. But a lot of people, and this is really down to personality type, are here in the present.
Yeah.
Future tripping is like, what? How? I don't know where I'll be in the future, So it is really important to also find ways into that vision. You can say, well, if you can wave a magic wand right now, what would you change about your life? But while I find that it really powerful, always writing in here, I did the workshop with you in January, and you said, and I remember you said, if you want to go and get a big A3 sheet of paper and some felt tip pens, go for it. And I went, and I ran off to my son's room, grabbed all his art supplies, and I got this big sheet of paper and felt tip pens. And as we were going through the questions, and I can't remember how it worked, but I've got my 5-year vision. In the journal, you write out about what your life looks like 5 years from now. But in this, I was writing just big themes. So I had things like exciting and nourishing collaborations, investments, global journal love. Like, it's very,
Nice.
what does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I have a business and life coach. I hadn't had a coach for years. So I put this up on my wall, and this is what I'm realizing. And I'm now talking about with my community, my members, what could be the next set of Project You life design tools that will really help us in designing our lives. And what's been coming out is that it's great putting it in the journal, but what can happen is you then close it up, you come back to your quarterly check-ins, and you're like, oh God, what did I write? Sometimes you have stuck to it, but actually having it up visually. So I put this up on my wall, and within a few months, almost all of these things had already happened. Even because I was looking at it every single day, not consciously going, must look at my plan, but it was
Mm-hmm.
that constant reminder. So
Yeah.
even investments, I was like, I'm not in a position to invest. No, you know
Mm.
what? I can invest
Do
something.
some little ones, yeah.
I'm going to invest £100. So I open up a plum account, whatever. I'm
Mhm.
investing £100. And, and then I started doing, I signed up to get supervision coaching.
Yeah.
And I was like, actually, well, I can have coaching now. So almost all of this stuff started to materialize, started to actually become a reality. I
Mhm.
think because of your like encouraging us to do it on a big sheet, colorful pens. I've put it up on my wall and it's a piece of magic. I'm so grateful to you for helping me realize the power of taking what's in our journals and in our dreams and our desires, putting it in front of us and having it like you have your vision board and things like that, having it on the wall. So you're just constantly reminded, this is what I'm doing this month. This is what I'm about this quarter.
Mhm.
This is what's important to me. And that stuff, it just keeps us on track. It just keeps
Mhm.
reminding us of what we want. I was talking about this with someone the other day. I said, we might think if I really wanted it, wouldn't I just be, thinking about it all the time? Wouldn't I just be doing it? No, because putting the
Yeah.
laundry on and getting the milk and doing this is
Mhm.
invariably going to end up feeling more important than all of that stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that. It's so beautiful. And I just think there's so much in that. When you go back to old notebooks, or I've got lots of those A3 sheets of paper where I've like journaled stuff out and got expansive in my thinking. And a lot of the sentences or bullet points that come out don't make that much sense to the person that you are at the time. But then I feel that the person that you end up living then says no to the things that don't align more. So I definitely think I went through phases of being like, no, no, that's a hard no. That's a really easy no. That's a no, I'm not really sure, but I'll speak to my husband. And the more I did that practice, the more everything felt like, okay, well, I'm just in it now. I'm just living inside the vision board. Whereas it was always something that I felt like, okay, that's just very much what I would love or very much the future. And there's so many specifics. I talked about it on a live the other day. There was so many specific things that got reflected back. I had this little postcard and it had $1,000 on it, and it was just meant to represent money and being open to being paid from across the globe. And I won $1,000 American from my mentor. I was just like, oh, and she's in Australia, so she's just got her prices in American dollars, and she's like, "You've won $1,000," and I was like, "Wait, what?" Like, so that was on there. So yeah, there's just so much, and I think it's beautiful work to do. I think it can help us feel unstuck as well. Sometimes it can feel too overwhelming, the blank piece of paper. And I like to just give people little prompts and little ways in, and that big permission slip to use the coloured pens, to
Yeah.
use the bigger pieces. Like we've got an A2 piece here that it's like been looking at me for like 3 weeks. Like it wants me to just be on the floor and
Yeah.
just that. But I'm like, okay, like I'm nearly ready, but I'm just not quite. I didn't even have a reflection session in on Sparkle this year because I've been so in my sort of personal, well, I've been in my way a bit with it all. And then all of a sudden this week, I was like, I really want to do a reflection session with the sparklers. So, yeah, sometimes it just takes a while to know when you're dancing inside of it all, when the next piece of the puzzle is going to open up, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Someone's saying they want to see the whole
Oh,
the
it's the
whole sheet.
paper.
I
There
mean,
it
you're not
is.
going to make much sense of it, but there it
It
is.
means a lot to you, though. That's the thing. So
Means a lot to me.
the global journal, love,
Yeah.
potentially, because this is they're 5 years, right? Like potentially that could be already happening. Like it's happening on Substack if you've got international subscribers,
Yeah.
international members, but also it could be a publishing partnership with a European or American publisher. It could be anything, couldn't it?
Exactly. Well, this is the beauty of it. I just interviewed someone yesterday. I'm doing a series of interviews of people who've been using the journals over the years,
Oh,
even
nice.
just the past year,
Mhm.
to talk about how they've used it to go after their dreams and design a life you love. And she was saying that she had put as her intention for this year was intrepidity.
Mm,
And she has now gone through a massive career change this year.
mm,
And now, where being intrepid, an intrepid adventurer, is exactly what she's become. But at the start of the year, when she put that word there, none of that dream and vision was on her radar. So it's just,
Mm.
there's something so beautiful about, sometimes we know what we want and we go after the vision, we go after the dream and we turn it into reality. But other times we're planting seeds of
Mm.
like, I don't know why, but it's this word is really resonating for me.
Yeah, that's the
Let's
one.
plant it and see what that grows into, see what
Yeah.
it draws in. But, a lot of people, like you're talking about, Claire, how you've been feeling this year, have been feeling this year's been such a weird and wobbly one. And it's been the year of the snake, which is all
Yeah.
about shedding.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been sent so
And it's like
many.
close to the ground and like underworldy and all of that stuff as well.
Oh
Yeah.
my, hasn't it felt like,
Mm.
I mean, I was just like, this has definitely been a year of shedding, a year of the snake.
Mm.
Like it's been, I think it's been an odd one, I think,
Yeah.
for people.
I
And
think, and leaning into making decisions more quickly is what felt like I was being called to do last year, because everything just felt so big. There was so many big emotions. There was some big things that happened. There was like massive growth in my business, massive growth for my Substack. It just felt massive. But what I learned towards the end of the year was the quicker I can make decisions on things, the more easeful everything feels. And I've definitely carried that through into this year, even though you're so right, the year has felt quite strange. And when I got stuck in the summer, it was because I didn't have that ease of decision making anymore. I was stuck. You don't
yeah,
have that stuck, do you? But I was so aware of it. I was like, I'm really stuck. Like, I'm just going to be stuck for a bit. Apparently, that's what I need to do.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I think there's been a big collective theme of stuckness.
Mm,
Stuckness, but actually we're not, like you say, in that underworld, the
mm,
underbelly.
mm.
It feels on the surface stuck, but all the
Yeah.
necessary, you
It's all
know,
doing its thing.
work is going
Composting.
on. Yes, exactly. Which apparently the year of the snake, I read somewhere, it's like this is where you're shedding to create that fertile ground so that the
Yeah.
year of the horse, which is on its way, you'll be
Oh,
like,
galloping.
off we
Lovely.
go.
Love it. Off we
So
go.
yeah.
I actually love horses. I quite often pull the horse card in my sacred animal deck actually. And for a while I was drawing them. There'll be a video in Creatively Conscious when I used to do my seasonal creativity sessions. And I remember holding it up to the camera and being like, don't laugh. I've tried to draw a horse, but like I'm really connected to horse magic and horse medicine and figuring out what it's all about. Me and Luna have just been watching Frozen 2 downstairs. So the magical seahorse has come to life. So that's been beautiful. There's one more little gem that I want to share from the magic of this journal. And then I think we should talk a little bit, Selena, about making it happen. So I know obviously there's been a few years of you having this materialize in whatever ways you have, and you've sold in different places and you've tried different things. And so I would love to get into some of that with you. I think people will be
Yeah.
so interested. And if you guys have got questions, then do pop them below and we'll try and get to them. But I didn't know that I'd done this because I haven't opened the journal at the start until I'm like in this reflection bit. I'm like, oh, what do I say? But anyway, I've written my creative success is inevitable. And that quote is attributed to Amy McNee. So I love Amy McNee. I love our work. I've met her this year. I did not know at the start of this year that I was going to get a hug with Amy McNee at the Substack party, and it was the most wonderful thing. So I invited her to come on my podcast, and I am still nervous to ask people to come on. I'm like, will people want to do this? Like, I just have that, you know? So I was like, I'm going to be bold. I really want to talk to Amy. She's promoting her book. It's a really good time. She came on my podcast with a lovely chat. She was really at the end of that promotional tour, you know, and then we met shortly afterwards. And then she sent me an invite to her art show, which is this weekend. And I can't make it because it's London and I'm in rural Northumberland and all the things. But I was just like, this has just felt like a beautiful year of connection to Amy's work and feeling very held by how fierce and strong she is with her messages. So I see them on notes when I log in. I see them on Instagram. I've just finished a fiction book and I'm like, wow, that was bold. That was a bold fiction book. I've loved it. And then, of course, when we came on to chat, I was like, okay. So
That's
literally in the front of the
crazy.
book, I know, look
Okay.
at that. And I've put vibrant and radiant there as my words to lean into. So there we go. Beautiful little story. But let's get into some
Yeah.
of the gorgeousness of how you've actually made this materialize. So, when do you start writing it? Does it kind of follow a bit of a pathway and a way with anchoring in, like how you want these to come together? Obviously, this year you've had another journal out as well, Time to Thrive. So, does it just feel like part of your flow now? And do you always know how you want to publish it, because I know I bought some copies from your website, but you can also buy them on Amazon. So love to hear all about that.
Well, I mean, it is all one wonderful, wild experiment from the very beginning. I had been dreaming about these journals and really feeling like there was something to them for quite a while. And about probably 9 years ago, I think it was, that I was had a business partner, and I had a business called Project Love with wonderful Vic
Mm.
Pavitt. And we were talking about doing a Project Love book. So we're talking to publishers, and I'd always say, well, I've also got this idea of, a journal. And they were like, well, I mean, that's just, yes, that can come later.
No,
That can be sort of merged
it's
that comes
it's
later.
doing.
Oh, hello, hiya. I'm talking about making dreams come true.
She's just come to tell me that it started snowing again.
Has
Yeah.
it? Oh,
Yeah.
you're so lucky. I've got no snow here.
It's so fun, isn't it? Are you going to get your socks and wellies back on? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's got some new books coming down.
Oh, would you bring them up? Is that
Yeah.
okay? Could you bring them up? That would be a really nice help, because they might be the actual books. Carry on, love.
Oh my God, can you imagine? That would be amazing.
No.
So we just went, it wasn't working out with coming up with a book of our own. And I just went to Vicky. I was just like, do you know what? I know, let's just scrap that book we're trying to create. Why don't we just go for the journal idea? Like, it's ready
Yeah.
to go, and I really believe in it. And she went, bless her, she was just like, let's do it. So we did a Kickstarter, and we launched it. We got like 150% of our target, and we ended up sending it. This is the first one, the first year, to about 22 countries all around the world. We sent them out. And so that kind of gave us about 1,000 people. So that gave us the first thing, and you know what it's like, you've done it yourself. But that gave us the sort of push of like, okay, this is a thing. The next year we did, I don't know where it is, very similar cover. We decided, right, this year we're going to actually go to a printer and, get it properly printed. So we did that, and we got it, and that was it. We put a Facebook, yay! Oh my God, live, arrived
magic.
live.
The
Love
magic.
it. You can't
Thanks,
make
Gina.
it up.
Do you want
Of the other.
But we just put a message out going, does anyone know how you get books into shops on Facebook time? And people came forward. They're like, oh, I work at a publisher. I can tell you what I know. So that year we got in touch with Oliver Bonus. We just sort of gave it a go. And they were like, we're really interested. Oliver Bonus, honestly, I have to give so much credit to them. They are such great supporters of small business owners and self-published books. Like, they were like, yeah, we'll do it. A lot of and I support independent bookshops for sure. But they really didn't. Most of them said no, because they were like, look, unless you're going through a particular distributor, it's too much, paperwork and admin for us to just take, which I get.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got it into Oliver Bonus in the following year.
So
And so that
cool.
was really exciting. Then we decided, well, the bottleneck was getting it out to more shops, because we didn't have a distributor, and it's chicken and egg. Well, who's your publisher? We don't have one. And the distributors wanted you to have a publisher. So we were like, how do we? And we tried Amazon, and we were like, forget it. Like, this is way too hard, not even going to bother. And so we did partner with a publisher, and you know what? It was great for a couple of years to do that. It really helped us to take the design. I think the first one, it got a flap, and it
nice,
things like that, and spot UV. They were like, oh, we could do a spot UV. So they really helped us to take it to the next level, and it was great to kind of have their input into how we could improve it and things like that. But I published Burnt Out, and I didn't have the best experience of working with publishers. Now, luckily, I'm so grateful for it, so many people are talking about the realities of working with publishers. I didn't like how I felt spoken to. I didn't like how grateful I was made to feel, how I didn't get the advances in advance, how, just ugh. So I was already stuck. And actually, I created another journal with the publishers, and they sent it to me late with a note saying, better late than never. And that was like the congratulations, your journal's out there kind of message. And I was just like, no. Also, what they then tried to do, by this point, the publisher had merged with one of the biggest publishers out there. And they wanted to pay me even less they wanted to pay me less than I pay my designer now, for a 2-year book deal, journal deal. And I just went, no, you're trying to give me such a small amount. This is my creation. This is my baby. And you'll want me to market it. They wanted to pay me £2,000. And I was like, the amount of time you're going to want me to do in the marketing alone, but like, this is mine. Like, what? No. So I was like, no, I'll do it on my own. So by this point, Vicky and I had stopped doing Project Love together. And I was like, right, I'm gonna take this on. So I then went back into self-publishing. This was by wonderful Ruth Ridgway, was that year, so 2022. It was terrifying. It was terrifying. I
Oh.
ran another Kickstarter. Doing it on my own was really scary, but I gritted my teeth and meditated as much as I could through all the anxiety. And it took off again. And since then, last year I set a goal of 2,000 journals, and I got that. This year I've already sold more than 2,000 journals to other. So Oliver Bonus, Barnes and Noble,
Oh,
WH Smith, and who's
wow,
the other
wow.
one? I think there's. Oh, I don't know about the Tate Modern. They've normally stocked it. They're amazing as well.
Okay. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this year I'm doing another stretching, a bigger stretch goal to see how I can do it now, selling on Amazon, which actually Amazon's amazing for self-publishers and small businesses. I know it gets a bad rep, but actually you get a really good, you get a really good percentage. And then the rest I do Shopify. I've got a fulfillment center this year. One year I did post them myself. Nightmare. The following year, one of my members said, I'll do it for you. Just out of the goodness,
Oh,
kindness of her heart. She has a warehouse. So she did it for a year. Wonderful
that's amazing.
Susie.
Yeah.
So I've really been just, and then there was the year I was like, right, I'm going to try out on Amazon. And I've sent a few. I was like, will they really send it through Amazon Prime? And they did. And I was like, and now actually it turns out pretty much everyone from the 20th of December wants to buy it on Amazon.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting? That's how it works. And I got it on your website because I think that was where I could get the 3 for 2. But I also, in the back of my mind, thought Selena will probably get more of this money
Yeah.
if I do it that way. Yeah.
I do. Do you know what? Yeah, and thank you, because people don't often think about that. But yeah, I get marginally more actually doing it through my shop than doing it through Amazon, because once you add up the cost, now it's going through the fulfillment center, and you've got postage and it's free shipping and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But I do I'm doing this 3 for 2 offer this year. It's such a great Christmas gift. So I was like, well, how about this year if you buy 2, you get the 3rd for free. So that's 2 Christmas gifts covered, and then a journal for you. And that's been really popular. And this year, for the first time, I've teamed up with a marketing agency. We shall see how that goes, to do ads and to help me on, on different ad fronts. So again, it's an experiment, and it's been an experiment with the distribution company. They're a magazine distribution company. So you can find it in WH Smith amongst the magazines. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway. So
but that's the thing, the experimental nature of it. I think part of where my brain goes to now is, once I've got the order of things, I like to repeat the order of things, but my creative heart loves the experiment. So it's like the two things combined. It's like if you can steady yourself enough in like, okay, this is part of it and that's part of it. And I love the expansiveness, because it doesn't necessarily follow, does it, that because you sold 1,000 that you could double it? But that's incredible. That's incredible.
Yeah.
And to this point in the year as well, because we're not even in December. So that must just feel amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it should do. I mean,
are you feeling it? You can take it in. It's so cool. We're celebrating Selena live.
I know, but do you know what? Until I see the money in my bank account, then But it is really amazing, and absolutely, it's step by step building. Look, this is year 9 of turning it into that journal. And so it's been experiment. And my thing has been, I will do what I can, and there will always be more ideas than what I'm able to do, but I'll do what I can. And next year I can always, if I don't manage to do that that can be a next year thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so it's like each year, I build on what worked, and then I'm stretching a little further and adding a little more. But I really, I think I love my Time to Thrive journal.
It's beautiful.
That's an all year, you can do it any time. But there's something so delicious about this being a ritual, a New Year ritual that we a growing community of people are doing year after year over the same period of time. And then every quarter at the same, same stepping from one quarter into the next, we're all doing it. There's something really magical about
I
this.
just had the loveliest idea, like drop in there where you were saying like the community all doing it at the same time. When like you take a photo of something in front of a landmark of wherever you are, and like there's a really cool lion statue in my local town. I was like, I've got to take Selena's journal to the lion statue, because like here it is in Anik, like things like that. I just thought, we can go global. Someone needs to get to Egypt and the pyramids, and then the Chrysler building in New York. Like, where's anybody going? Like, snap the journal, because it could work all year as well. People are like, I'm here with my journal. We're still journaling. Love it.
This is the idea. You start at the start of the year, but then it becomes your guide to designing a life you love throughout the year. Because, like you said, got at the end, the time to reflect section, and that's a really important one, because you go back looking through the journal at the year you've just been through before you get to the other reflection you do in the following journal. But the time to reflect one is to look back at the things you wrote down and which of those things that you wrote did happen, to then really get present to the fact that the magic that I'm a big believer that the very real magic that we have as humans is our ability to dream things up and then turn those dreams and desires into reality. Like, as far as we know, although I always wonder about dolphins, as far as we know, and horses actually, by that front, we are the only animals that can actually do that. And so it's like, you are the artist of your own life. We can't control that aspect. There's loads about life we can't control, but there are elements that we really can. So let's work with that. Like, for me, our lives are our greatest creative project, and that's what this is all about. So that time to reflect, you look back and you sort of look at, what did I write down that actually came true? And it's like, look at the power and the magic you are capable of. And what are the things I wrote down, they didn't come true? That's all right. You're not supposed to make every dream. My goodness, I go through my journals now and I'm like, did I write that? I wanted that. That is weird for me. Or there were dreams, for example, really growing the journals business that I had kind of given up on. And it was this year and it was going through the journals. I was like, I feel really sad. I had such big ambitions for the journals business before, and it's sort of like, frittered away. And I was like, no, I need to bring that back. I need to bring that back in.
Pulling it back in.
Go after it. Yeah. So yeah, it is. I love that idea of people taking pictures of it in front of.
I'm going to start it this weekend. So nice. I can do one with the snow outside now, actually. I'll do that.
Please
It'll be a nice contrast, won't it? One of the things that I've lent into, because I'm writing a book a year for 10 years and I'm in year 5. And I say that quite quickly because people are like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So in 2020, it was my journal, Creativity Island for Mums. I posted it out from home. I had a little stamp, like a paper cutter stamp. So I would save cards and old pieces of paper and things, and I would cut out the little hearts and then sprinkle them in the packages. I'd put a little tea bag in there. Like, I was all in. I absolutely loved it. And then when an influx of orders came in, I hated it. I hated standing in the post office queue. I was like, what am I doing with my life? And then people would say it got lost in the post. And I would be like, oh, no, that's not how I'm going to do the next book. And then so lots has happened since then. And just recently, my ebook that's coming out, Invisible Trust, which is really about last year, but it kind of maps back some early life experiences that I think sort of set me on the track to wanting to do the work that I do. So it's about that. And it was only going to be an ebook. Like, that was the thought. It'll be an ebook. And 2 people said, Claire, I don't really read ebooks, but I would really love to get it. Are you planning to print any copies? And originally I had been planning to print some copies and do the whole post office thing. And I just decided, no, I'm not doing that. But then I remembered about Lulu and I was like, I'm going to just give Lulu a try. We'll see how much money it costs. We'll see what that all is. So I've ordered the proof copy yesterday, full colour front cover. Inside, we'll see obviously how the layout looks when it actually is printed and all that sort of stuff. But it was £8. And I was like, oh. So in my mind, I think I'd gone, well, like if it ends up being like £30 or £40 for people to print one book, like that's not sustainable. But I
Yeah.
think I've remembered that from last time because Creativity Island for Mums was like a heavy paper. It was like a really thick, beautiful, almost like a card because it was a keepsake as well as a
Yeah.
journal. And it was full colour, beautiful design. Every page was full colour. So I think I've remembered it from there. And then I had that alchemy yesterday of going, oh no, this could be completely possible. So yeah, all that to say that if you are curious about ebooks, PDF downloads, print distribution, all of that sort of stuff, there are so many ways with it now, and there's so much.
many
You
ways.
put a little note out, and people jump on and say, "Oh yeah, what about this and what about that?" So yeah,
I think self-publishing is so wonderful for so many
yeah,
reasons. And I'm not saying to not go with publishers. Like I'm not, no,
yeah,
I definitely see myself in the future. I would like to be published again with a publisher. It does offer different opportunities, and there is a stamp of approval with being published that you
yeah,
don't get when you self-publish. These are journals, so that's slightly different. I'm sort of between book and stationery, so that has a different thing to it. But I think there's something so beautiful about self-publishing, and you can print on demand journals. Plenty of people do them. You just can't get the lovely. I don't know if you can see there,
Sheen,
the
yeah.
spot UV,
Back up
and
again.
all of that.
What's it called, Selena? The effect that it
Spot
has.
spot UV.
Spot UV.
Yeah.
Ah,
Got
ah.
UV. And actually when for the Goodbye 2029, Hello 2030, I think we might go for some kind of foil effect, but
Oh yeah,
not
foil.
there yet. We're not there yet.
Glittery. Confetti style. Love it. Beautiful. I think there was a question popped in from Claire. Claire's saying, who do you use to fulfill your Shopify orders? This is so interesting. You'd said it was like a magazine distributor.
Well, to fulfill them. So for the distribution, I'm with a magazine distributor because it's been hard to get well, it's been hard to get a distribution, but also I didn't want to go with someone who would just send it everywhere because then
Yeah.
someone was like, what can happen? You don't know who's going to get hold of them, and they could be suddenly selling them 50% off in December, and then that's you've got to be careful. You got to be careful. But the fulfillment that I use now, after bless her, Susie was going to do it again, I was like, hold on a second, if I want to like sell 4,000 journals this year, like we can't have you doing it on top of your full-time job. So actually going with really amazing company. Partnership is everything in this for me, like this business, about finding partnerships that really feel good. Arlo Fulfillment, ARLO Fulfillment. They do all sorts of things. Books, but also clothes, and they're great for small businesses, and they've just been absolutely fantastic. So I go with them, and I've used other ones before as well, but they were fine. But it's for me, it's so much about the people that you're connecting with, and you want to have a really good rapport, and you want to have a chat on the phone, even if you're talking about boring Amazon labels, which I was today, and all this, and have a laugh.
Bit of connecting, yeah. I
Exactly.
didn't deal with the distribution for the Substack book because Russell had those contacts, but I know that we had a distribution house in America and then a distribution house in Europe. And then I said I would do the UK ones because obviously it can be a bit complicated because you would essentially then need a distribution house in the UK because of the European war. So I was like, well, I'll just send out the UK one. So then I was back again in my office doing all of that, getting the right size envelopes.
Oh, no.
But it was pretty seamless and they were really friendly, like if anything sort of cropped up or anything. And then now it's through I'm going to blank on the name, Draft to Digital. So now Draft to Digital handle all of that and take a percentage, and the book brings in royalties every month. So I just feel incredibly lucky because people are obviously searching for it on all of the places, and then they're doing the fulfillment of all of that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, I think Amazon's or other print on demand options are fantastic, particularly if you're doing something like a book that's fiction, non-fiction, poems. There's a lot of, I've got some, looking up on my bookshelf, journals by friends that they do print on demand through Amazon. They're nice, like soft touch, covers.
Yeah.
you can actually, and it would probably make my life a lot easier and far less nail biting
Yeah.
to just do print on demand. But for me, there's something about the game of stretching and going. And actually, you probably also, when I'm ordering bigger quantities, the cost per
Yes,
journal
cost per
comes
unit. Yeah.
down. And so,
Mhm.
it's all of these things of experimenting, and I love the game of it, and I also love the product. Like, I
Yeah.
love filling this in. I will do this until the day I die or my brain no longer remembers it, because
Yeah.
and the others will do it for me. Um, because I want this always to exist, even if I'm printing, on print on demand or printing
Yeah.
200 and
Mhm.
sharing them out there. So I know I'll always do it, and how I do it, I get to decide. I get to
Yeah.
choose, and that's why I love self-publishing. I
Oh,
would
so
not
good.
I wouldn't ever go back for this, particularly for this journal. There's
Mhm.
just no way I would go with a publisher. There's no
Yeah.
This is, and I say that this is a journal. It's different to a book,
Yeah.
uh, in that sense. But yeah, no, not in a million years. And also not for £2,000.
No, that's it, isn't it? That is it. I'm listening to Lily Allen's memoir at the moment, and she was given 25 grand for a 5-year album deal. And I like heard that fact. And obviously, like, you don't know details, do you, till you listen to someone's memoir? But I was just like, whoa, like, so like the arts just does have a lot of that. And then I think now, because we are such multi-passionates and we are up for experimentation and we do share, okay, this worked for me, and how
Yeah,
about this? Like, there's so much generosity of spirit, isn't there, around we want you to win too. Like, we all want you to
yeah,
get to do the self-expression you want to do. So there's so much with that. I did want to just mention the Substack planner as well. So I've done this for
yes.
the last 3 years. And I just say to people, or you can use a printing service and print it out. But I just use it. This year I've gone A4 again. I got it A5 spiral bound last year, which felt really nice. And this year I'm like, I need more space. I need more space with this. So it's really interesting, but it's totally free to download. I'll link it in the replay, and I'll link all Selena's resources as well. I just wanted to ask Selena about the session that you might be able to do, or you are planning on doing, on holding us all with the journal. So do you hold the reflection session and then the planning session? Like, how does it all work? Is there a special like one-off session for the journal? Is it in between Christmas and New Year? When does it happen?
Well, this year, between Christmas and New Year, I'm not doing it because I'm going to see my husband's family in Colombia. So
Oh,
I have no
beautiful.
idea where I'm going to be. So I can't
Yeah.
plan anything like that. But every year for the past 3 years now, I think, in January, and I do need to decide the date, I'm going to do the big online share. So it's
Nice.
really lovely to do this on your own. I really
Yeah.
encourage people to then go and share it with their partners if their partners have done it as well, or with their
Yeah.
friends. But if you don't have that, or even if you do have that, come to the big online share, and we basically, having filled in our journals already, we go through for about an hour and a half, and it is so powerful and uplifting to hear other people share. We don't go through every single page, but we'll
Mhm.
share, what were three of the top things that happened
Oh,
this year?
nice.
What was a challenge that you faced? What's something you're proud of yourself for? To
Mhm.
hear other human beings answer that collectively is,
Yeah.
people come away feeling so inspired, and obviously at the
Mhm.
end saying, right, this is everyone's sharing their intention
Mhm.
for the year. We have like 60 to 100 people joining these, and I'm there watching
Oh,
the chat, and like,
yeah.
so beautiful. And then when you're in the membership, we do, yeah, for each sort of check-in. And actually, I haven't really thought about what we might do as a membership to sort of do. Well, no, but yeah, we do the quarterly check-ins together. So
Mhm.
you can join live, or you can watch the replay. You do the check-in, we share some of our answers, and then we sort of, it helps to open up and expand and talk about some of the themes that have been coming up for people. So I find that accountability and that body doubling for a lot of people is really important, to be like, oh, right, yes, okay, going to put it in my diary. I'm going to
Yeah.
come to that, and then I'll definitely get it done. Because if I didn't have that, I don't know if I would do the quarter.
Oh, I know. I know. That's it,
Yeah.
isn't it? I definitely feel like when I missed that one or whatever happened, I was like, okay, like we're just gonna be kind to ourselves with that one. But yeah, I think it's so beautiful to have the accountability, and I love the types of things people share in your membership as well. Like, it's a really vibrant space, mostly super intelligent women. I just feel like I'm just in a space of incredibly intelligent people. It's lovely.
Yeah.
And people then taking time for themselves and letting things land, and like putting whatever, coat they've had to wear of who they are professionally to one side to kind of do the creative work. It just feels really special. So you have gathered a beautiful set of people together. I'm very grateful to be part of that. So thank you for that. Thank you for all you do. And if you are listening, wondering about links for the journal, obviously head to Selena's Substack. You'll find stuff there. You can join the membership. And then also on Selena's website or on Amazon. But the website's the one that's got the 3 for 2 deal on it, which I think is wonderful because they make such gorgeous gifts as well.
Yeah. Oh, Claire, thank you so much. Oh, I love talking about the whole
It's
topic
been
of life
lovely.
design, and love hanging out with you.
It's been so nice. It's so funny. I remember sitting in my kitchen in my old house with my husband. We'd only just met. We were like hopelessly in love. He worked away. And I said to him, do you know you can just design your own life? So this is like 12 years ago. And he was like, what do you mean design your own life? I was like, well, you just decide and then you just design it. And he always brings it up. So like the first time when I got your journal and I was like, okay, there we go. It's the same. It's the same. So it's really beautiful to meet a kindred spirit and also to be held in this type of expansive work, because it's beautiful work to do. And I feel like I've found like a real kindred in you. So thank you. It's been beautiful.
Absolutely. Oh, thank you. I feel so filled up by this conversation.
I'm glad. I'll see you all again really soon. I'll do another live soon. Thanks to Selena. And if you want to catch the replay, if you didn't catch the whole conversation, it'll be over on my Substack in some sort of time in the future. Not too long, probably about half an hour or so, depending if I can get it done before co-working. Thanks, Selena. See you all again really soon.
Thanks, Claire.
Bye.